Welcome to another episode with your host, Robert E. Hansen, psychic medium, author, and public speaker.
A Tale of the Hawk. There are many types of hawks that inhabit the globe worldwide. They reside in as far away as Japan, as south as South America, in the northern provinces of Canada. Hawks are a beautiful, powerful, and a bird of prey. Their nutrition, their lifeblood, their lifeline comes through the capturing of small rodents, small animals, and this is how they stay alive. It is the natural balance in Mother Nature. The hawk sits upon its perch in a tree, upon rock, upon bramble, and its keen eyesight, its sensitive hearing, all of it tunes in, and it can observe a field mouse from a mile away. The hawk has been gifted with many, many gifts, but eyesight, its talons, its bird of flight, its speed is of legend. There are cultures around the world that even worship the hawk, speak of the hawk, idolize the hawk, included on totem poles and etchings into the sides of spiritual facilities, spiritual places. There are Native American tribes, indigenous people who even have hawk ceremonies, wear hawk costumes and hawk feathers. It is really considered to be a sacred bird. The story is brief, but about a hawk. And the hawk was scanning for something to eat. It seemed like the animals of the wild sensed its presence, and it could not find a mouse, a squirrel, a rodent, a rat, anything for which it could swoop down with its large claws, its large talons. And when those talons come in, it's like a vice grip. It immediately ends the life of the animal. The hawk then proceeds to fly away and carry it to its resting place and begins to eat what it has killed. It preserves the natural order of life itself. On this particular day, this hawk is really struggling to find nutrition and to find food, and it spots a fox. Now, a fox is a larger animal. It carries weight. It is not so easily surrendered, and the hawk sees it. It decides out of hunger to swoop down and lays its talons into this large adult male fox. Now the fox, of course, is startled, and it feels the penetration of the talons, and it can feel the effort of the hawk trying to lift. And the hawk is desperate to take the fox with it. However, the fox has not died. The fox is fighting, and within a short distance, the weight of the fox, the heaviness of the fox, the resistance of the fox forces the hawk to return to the earth, its talons receding, and it releases the fox. And although the fox is wounded and is suffering talon cuts, it survives the hawk's attack and eventually works its way back into the woods where it rests and at some point comes to healing. The hawk, however, flies away, and the hawk flies away with no food, no substance, and its talons remain empty without any animal, any rodent in its claws. The moral of the story is sometimes we take on too much. We take on the weight out of greed, out of desire, out of mental or emotional starvation, and we attack, we grab, we clutch, we hold on to items in our life, people in our lives, situations in our lives, personal items in our lives that we refuse to let go of, that we refuse to surrender, that we refuse to release. And we feel by dragging them along into our nest, into our sanctuary, somehow they will bring us and fulfill us with the nutrition emotionally, spiritually, physically that we feel we so desperately need. And yet we discover that the weight, the burden of this demand not only empties us and we stand without anything, it also shows us that what we are supposed to receive is intended. And when we try to take on more than we can handle, more than we can accept, more than it is good for us to carry, it will only cause us to wind up empty, hungry, and unfulfilled. The hawk eventually flies off, finds another less challenging animal, realizing that his impatience was in his way, and the hawk finds a smaller prey, swoops down, and brings it back to his nest, and takes care of his children, and takes care of his own food. This is the teaching from a Native American story about the gift of the hawk and the teachings of the hawk. Thank you for joining me.